Well, test. That should be good.
Hello. Test.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Morning.
Awesome. Good to see everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Got to make an announcement to begin with at first. Anybody with a gold badge, there's a lunch provided for you guys in the ballroom. Even if you have VIP, if you have a gold badge, still go to the ballroom. Club Wealth is buying you lunch today. So you get a little extra special session in there. And that's going to be in the ballroom for everybody with a gold badge. Even if you're VIP and you have a gold badge, you still go in the ballroom. But yeah, you still just go to the regular VIP lunch.
Okay.
Yeah, just gold badges in the ballroom for a special lunch.
Okay.
So welcome everybody. So I know a lot of people just saw me talking there, kind of got introduced. So my name is Brad Burns. I'm in San Antonio, Texas. Neighborhood farming is one of my favorite activities to do. And I do it the unconventional way. So I'm sure a lot of people think neighborhood farming, you're thinking mailing out 1,000 postcards a month, doing things like that. And I'll tell you, I don't spend $1 on postcards. I don't send postcards. And I'm the #1 agent in my neighborhood. Yeah, I'm not sure. If I can figure out how to work the clicker. So unconventional neighborhood farming for sellers and buyers. Okay, yeah, and I'll try talking to the mic a little bit more too. Oh, okay, okay, appreciate it. So unconventional neighborhood farming for buyers and sellers. My name is Brad Burns. I'm with KW in San Antonio. So if y'all have any referrals, send them my way. Objective. So we're doing the neighborhood farming. The objective that you want to do is, I was speaking with the owner of a mortgage company, and one of the things they did at that mortgage company was they hosted lunches for agents every Wednesday. So what they were able to do, they were able to talk to a few hundred people in an hour or two versus trying to meet each individual person and taking a ton of time, one to many, like we hear everybody talk about a lot. So we want to make what's called the deer feeder effect, to where we have everybody come to us. We're able to love on everybody, able to introduce everybody, meet everybody, and talk to them at that deer feed effect. One to many. Be able to communicate with many people at the same time and place. Create a business. This is a super important one to me. I wanted to create a business to where if somebody was looking at me working from the outside, they wouldn't know if I was working or if I was playing. They wouldn't know if I was just enjoying family time or if I was working. I wanted to make it so enjoyable that I didn't even know the difference, that I was just able to attract. My big thing is I want to attract business. When I first got into real estate, I used to circle prospect daily. My goal was to talk to 100 people on the phone every day. Not 100 phone calls, 100 conversations a day. At first I started off, I didn't have the money for a dialer. So I got somebody to print out the phone numbers and I hand dialed till I talked to 100 people a day. So without a dialer, that would take me 7 or 8 hours a day. I would start 8 in the morning, be done maybe about 5. I didn't have anything else to do, so I was lead generating. Then I got some closings going, then I got a dialer, and I was able to cut that down to 3 or 4 hours. Become the go-to for anything that has to do with a home or real estate in your neighborhood. Building relationships in the neighborhood. Help promote other non-realtor businesses owned by neighbors. Choosing the neighborhood. So this is a super important part. I chose the neighborhood I live in. It's a little bit easier if you're able to do it that way. An area you're familiar with, so don't go pick a neighborhood that you know nothing about, or do some research on it at first. You want to find something with a good turnover rate. Does anybody know how to calculate a turnover rate? Yep, so I'm going to explain it here a little bit. Preferably a transitional neighborhood, either a move up or a move down. So how you calculate the turnover rate is you take the number of homes in the neighborhood, or you take the number of homes sold in a year in the neighborhood, and you divide it by the number of homes in the neighborhood, So you want to find something ideally with a 5+ turnover rate. If you can get in double digits, that'd be great. But you want to do at least 5+. So what that tells you is for every 100 people you talk to or 100 people you communicate with, there's going to be 5 of them that are going to be selling within the next year. Typically, neighborhoods have the same turnover rates year after year. I recommend, yep. So you take the number of homes sold in the past year and divide it by the number of homes in the neighborhood. So you want to be strategic with what neighborhood you're choosing to do. Preferably a transitional neighborhood. So if you're finding something that's a newer construction, I would say wait at least till it's about 5 to 7 years old before you really dive in there, because that's usually the time frame that people are making moves. And transitional neighborhoods. So if you're finding a new construction neighborhood or a neighborhood that's 5 or 7 years old, what you're doing is those people bought that first home, they're going to be selling that first home and then moving on to the next one. So for example, my neighborhood is it's probably about 10 years old now. It's a D.R. Horton neighborhood. So, you know what I mean, $200,000 to $300,000 price point. And from what I've found by doing events and things like that in my neighborhood, people sell their houses in there and they go and buy something with maybe half an acre, some more land they want to spread out and move up. And I'm going to tell you why that's important here in a second. Absolutely. Thank you. So you want to find a neighborhood that's going to be a good transitional one. So if you find an older neighborhood that's been there a little while, where people are phasing out, people are empty nesters, they're trying to ditch the stairs, market to those. And then I'm going to teach you all about how to market to and how to cater to their needs. Plan of action. So my goal is 41 yearly touches for the neighborhood. So I know we've heard a lot about 36 touches and 48 touches and whatever it might be. My goal is 21 for the neighborhood. That's 6 events with Facebook posts on the neighborhood page for each event. So that's 12. 12 market reports, Facebook post. That could either be a post or a video. 1 neighborhood video. So maybe like a neighborhood highlight reel. Get with your photographer. You can probably spend a few $100s to get the video made. Or if you're good at editing videos and doing that stuff, I mean, you can do that yourself to start off with. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. 12 property flyer posts on Facebook, homes that are outside the neighborhood. And then circle prospect around the neighborhood quarterly. For those of you who don't know what circle prospect is, it's when you just call around the neighborhood. And my script on that is super simple. It's, hey, this is Brad, I'm the neighborhood realtor. I was just checking in with you guys to see if you had a plan to make a move in the next year or so. And so depending on the time of year, I'll either say in the next year or so, or I'll say, do you have any plans to make a move in the near future? So here at the tail end of the year, I would say in the next year or so. In the beginning of the year, I would say near future. A lot of people now, when they think near future, they don't think January, February. They think that's in a year or so.
What kind of program do you use to pull numbers for certain prospects?
So I use Mojo. You're able to scrub that against the do not call list, and their neighborhood data is actually pretty good. From when I did my circle prospecting days, I used to use Cole Realty Resource.
Oh, yes.
Cole Realty Resource is a great program. Mojo, I think, is a little bit better because it's more up to date. So when I was circle prospecting, I liked Cole better because I wasn't talking to people that just bought a house 2 months ago. But if I'm neighborhood prospecting, neighborhood farming, I want to talk to everybody. Yep, so I'm actually gonna go over that here in a second. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna go over that here in a second. My clicker's not working. Yeah, I know. Oh. There it goes. So 12 market reports posted on the neighborhood page, either a picture or a video of it. The video, you're gonna get people to know you a little bit more. Show how many homes have sold that month in the neighborhood. You can share average price point and things like that. Show how many went pending. And also show average price. The flyer post on the Facebook page, monthly posts of flyers of homes outside the neighborhood, homes that are in a move up, move down neighborhood, more land, no stairs, things like that. Find the trend of where people are moving to and post flyers of those types of homes. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
A question about the Facebook page itself. If it is run by another realtor, or for example, it is run by some Nazi admins who don't like advertising, how do you address that point?
Spoil them with value. I'll tell you, before I moved into my neighborhood, I lived in the neighborhood over, and on next door, you kind of see all the neighborhoods around there. I offered CMAs for people to protest their taxes, because Texas, we have crazy high property taxes. And I had a guy, he was like the admin of next door. And he was like, hey, you can't promote your business. I was like, I'm not promoting my business. I'm offering a free service to people. And I'm telling them I'm a realtor, so I'm qualified to give this information. And we kind of went back and forth. And then I was moving into the new neighborhood, so I circle prospected around it, set his listing appointment, went over there, listed his house, and sold it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I don't know if he remembers our argument on next door or not. Yeah. So circle prospecting, circle prospect quarterly, call it the simple script asking if they're going to make a move in the next year or so. Your goal is to add people to the database. So when you're calling through there, you're asking them if you can set them up on a market report to where you're able to contact them and add them into your database and contact them. We do it twice a month. Yeah, I have a whole slide on events. Did it? Oh, that's my favorite one. Gonna skip it too far now. Can you put it on the event one? So this is the plan of action one. Is there the next one? Is it neighborhood events, or what's the next one? Yeah, let's go through this and then we'll come to the events at the end if they're not somewhere down the road on here. So the neighborhood video, you want to showcase the amenities, you want to showcase the types of homes and things like that. If you have a neighborhood park, if you have a pool, playground, anything you have in there, you want to showcase that. And also get your face in the video so some other agent can't just come in and steal the video. And if they do, they're sharing your face. Talk about the benefits of the neighborhood, how close it is to major highways, how close it is to shopping. So really you just want to make it a nice highlight reel of the neighborhood. Do somewhat of a neighborhood drive-through. So kind of just like a little neighborhood tour driving through there for part of it. Make it a 3 to 5 minute video. It doesn't have to be super long. Creating a vendor list. So one of the first things I recommend doing is getting on your neighborhood Facebook page. Most neighborhoods have one, if not, make one. And create a vendor list of businesses, preferably with neighbors. And then if they're not neighbors, get your vendors in there. So that way, anytime somebody asks, hey, does anybody have an electrician that I could get their information? You have a couple people you can share on there. Does anybody have a plumber? Hey, I'm a realtor and these are the people that I always have my clients use. Hey, I'm a realtor and these are the people I always recommend. Always throw in there, hey, I'm a realtor and these are the people that my clients use. Be the person that has a referral for everything. So I don't know if anybody's ever read the book, The Go-Giver. Amazing book. And it talks about just connecting people. So we can be that connection for a lot of people. I'll tell you, my lawn person, or he's not my lawn person no more, but the person that was doing my lawn, I referred him so much business, I didn't pay to get my yard cut for like 2 years. He just wouldn't charge me because we always took care of that. Another story that happened before or after we turned in the slideshow. So my wife and I used my friend's Airbnb in our city because we kind of had just like a business planning, like buckle down, learn type thing. And she wasn't feeling well. So we said, hey, we're going to go to the Express Med Clinic down the street from where we're at, which on the other side of town from where we live. And we were in there. And the lady at the front desk, she was like, what are you doing on this side of town? And because she saw the ID and she was like, huh? And she was like, yeah, I live on that side of town where you live as well. And then from the back, I heard, have you killed Brad yet? And I was like, whoa. And then came up, it was a guy from the HOA from our neighborhood. He worked at that Express Med Clinic. We do cash pay on all of that stuff. And he came up and actually gave us the visit for free because we do this stuff in the neighborhood. So it's not just about getting the business, connecting dots, doing things like that, is you get all kinds of benefits from being that celebrity in the neighborhood. Business day at the park, set up to where neighbors can come highlight their businesses. So if you have somebody that does AC in your neighborhood, a plumber, different things like that, let them set up little booths or tables and come advertise their businesses to all the neighbors, maybe get a ice cream truck or hot dogs, whatever it might be, to come to that event to bring people out. Because what Zig Ziglar says, you help enough other people get what they want, you get what you want. So if we help all these other people build their businesses, we're going to get it in return. Adding the people to the database, so when you're circle prospecting and things like that, door knocking, meeting people, you want to add them to the database. Gather their info, names, phone numbers, address, email with the events. So you can do little giveaways, things like that. Set up on bi-weekly market reports. So we don't send out all the other drip campaign stuff typically. Like at the end of the day, I mean, no offense if anybody does this, but nobody cares how to get red wine out of carpet on like some of these drip campaigns. Like they're not going to remember and be like, oh my gosh, Ruth sent me an email 6 months ago on how to get red wine out of carpet. I spilled my wine. Let me figure out how to get it out. Nobody's going to ever remember that, but they're going to remember us keeping in contact and letting them know what's going on in the neighborhood. Send out emails of events. So that's another way to advertise your events. Invite to client events. Okay, so it did skip mine. So the neighborhood events that we're doing are, yeah, that'd be perfect. Neighborhood events we're doing are 2 movie nights. So I went on Amazon and I bought an inflatable projector screen, a projector, one of those speakers and a little stand and a DVD player. And I hold neighborhood movie nights. And it took out my pictures of it. Christmas light contest. So that'd be a great one to do now. Maybe give away $300 to $500 in gift cards for a Christmas light contest for your neighborhood. And you can get vendors or lenders to pay for those gift cards to where you're holding this event, you're gathering people's information, make some sort of Google form where they have to submit their info for you to go judge their house or you to have people go judge their house. And then you gather all that information to put in your database. barbecue cook-offs. So if you have a little neighborhood, like we have a neighborhood park, so like a barbecue cook-off where everybody can come showcase their barbecue skills, and just make it a fun little event. NFL game tailgate party. Go Cowboys. And I'll tell you, I mean, one of my favorite things too is, so I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm a little extra with it on social media because people remember that. So the other day, the Cowboys played in the lobby, and I went to go watch the game on Sunday. And I don't know, he's a chef or whatever. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll put the game on. And like he was there watching a little bit. And then like a couple days later, I was walking down the hallway. He was like, hey, go Cowboys. And I was like, yeah, like that makes people give something some people remember about you. A luggage drive for foster children. So we did right when COVID hit, we were doing a luggage drive, and then COVID hit and everything shut down. So we couldn't go pick up stuff from people because we didn't know how you get it, or there was so much unknown with on that time. So different events like this, they don't have to be huge events. A little bit about the movie nights. So I partner with the HOA on a lot of it. The HOA wants all the neighbors to come together. They want everybody to be friendly neighbors, introduce themselves, meet, things like that. And if we're able to sponsor these, the movie nights cost maybe $100, $200. We say bring your own food, bring your own snacks, whatever. So we don't have to supply that. Pretty often the HOA is like, hey, we'll bring an ice chest of drinks and boxes of chips and things like that for people. We've had an ice cream truck go out to where everybody kind of just buys their own stuff. My favorite movie event we did was the first one. Every time I've done one, I've gotten a buy and a sell from the event. So how I talked about finding the trends in the neighborhood. What I did was we did the movie event. I think the first one was Aladdin, when Aladdin had first came out. And the HOA president was like, hey, I want to buy a house a few miles down the road. They're building them on half-acre lots. So I said, okay, you want something on a half-acre lot? That's something a lot of people go to. So I went in MLS, found a property with a half-acre lot, made the flyer, posted it in the neighborhood page, and he messaged me, hey, we got to go see this house. So this was October we did it. November 17th, we closed on his house and he bought the next house. So that was, and he sold, and this was a couple years ago. So he sold his house for $220,000, $230,000, and then bought for $350,000. So it's like $600,000-$700,000 in production off of a $200 movie night that I can keep using that stuff over and over again. I posted in the neighborhood page. And anytime I have a listing, I'm posting it and showing it off and things like that. So every time we do a movie night, we end up getting business from it. Yeah. So at the event itself, I'm not super salesy with it. I'm just having conversations with people. And they already know from all of the other stuff that I'm doing combined that I'm the neighborhood realtor. And like I have it, I don't want to brag or like anything like that, but I had the neighborhood pretty much on lock to where if another realtor mails out a mailer in the neighborhood or somebody door knocks and leaves a flyer or something, people will send me a picture and be like, hey, this person's stepping in on your territory.
Burn it.
Yeah. One of the, yep. Mm-hmm. Kick the door down, do these activities, and you're going to take over. Even if they're doing everything, they're getting most of the business, they're not doing these things. They're probably doing postcards and things like that. They're not really doing the things that people connect with. Who here, if you get a postcard in the mail, what do you do with it? Yeah. No, so if I get a listing in the neighborhood, I will post that on the page as well to give everybody an opportunity to choose their next neighbor. But I do post it elsewhere on Facebook too. But I will take outside homes and only post them in the neighborhood page. So we had a new development come in. It was called Annabelle Ranch. They're all half-acre lots, $500,000 plus. So what I did when I saw that neighborhood opening up, went and stole some pictures off their website, put it on the Canva flyer, posted in the neighborhood page, and I believe I had 17 people reach out to me that they wanted information on those homes. We ended up selling 4 of them that year. So that December was really good. That's when they started closing. That December was really nice because we had buy and sells for, they're buying 500s and then selling 250, 300 in there. So my neighborhood's about 400 houses. If you have a large neighborhood, you know, there's large neighborhoods with thousands of homes. Start off in one section of it and then venture out. Do what they call the ink blot method. So start on one street, one neighborhood, one part of the neighborhood. Really, really get known in there, and then let it start to venture out. So I don't create the Facebook page. It was already created. I kind of just took it over. I'm not an admin, but I kind of just took it over. Yeah, so the first thing I started when I was new to the area was circle prospecting. So I called around the whole neighborhood, and when I moved into the neighborhood, I was renting the house. So as soon as we put in the application, I started circle prospecting around it. And I picked up 2 listings in there before I even moved in. And that really kind of started off the beginning of it. And then I've added on the events, the movie nights and things like that. I've even gotten with the HOA and say, hey, I want to do a movie night. Will you guys supply the movie? And then they'll supply the movie.
You mentioned that you had a quarrel with somebody on Nextdoor. Would you recommend using Nextdoor to put some of the events on there as well, or just the Facebook page?
I would post them on both. I don't usually post it on Nextdoor, but I mean, I wouldn't say not to. I would do it, and then if you get blown up with people, with Karens, if Karen blows you up, then I might refrain from a little bit. But really, people typically enjoy the movie nights and events that we do. We even have like a little reader board coming into the neighborhood. The HOA will advertise it on there. And then when we put the flyers up, we say, hey, hosted by we're the Burns International Group real estate team. And then when we get to the event, we're not real salesy. We're just talking to people. Anybody that knows you're a realtor, when you're having a conversation, what's one of the questions that always comes up? How's the market? And I say, unbelievable. Unbelievable. How's the market? Unbelievable. So that's the tough part. There's not one great way, but there's different things like Linktree and different things like that to where you can all bring them into one and post them to where you can do like a Calendly, things like that, and people can schedule with you directly. A lot of times I just get messages from people.
When it comes to Facebook groups, to check the rules, because in my neighborhood, only on Mondays can you post things that are marketing your business, and it's totally allowed to do it in a direct manner.
Yeah.
So definitely check your Facebook group rules.
Yeah, absolutely. So check your Facebook group. Some don't allow advertising, but you can bring value to people. And that's why I talk about having the referral for everything. And let them know, hey, I'm a realtor, and this is why, this is who my people use. Have that referral for everything, and constantly implement, hey, I'm the neighborhood realtor, and this is who the people I recommend are.
It has a mix of single family and townhomes, as like the move up, move down kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I don't see an issue with that. I mean, people are still buying and selling those.
Okay. And then the other question is, so you probably don't deal with this in Texas, but we get real cold weather. What would you do in the winter for events?
Something indoors maybe. Yeah, so we have like 2 cold months in Texas. Like I'm sure a lot of y'all saw last year, like when that cold thing came down, like Texas shut down. It was the best week of my life. Like my phone didn't ring. People, it was nice. Like we didn't lose power, so it was extra nice. Like a lot of people lost power. But you move it to an indoor event, or move it to something like the Christmas light contest where you're not actually having to have something outdoors, or coat drives or things like that, and bring charities into it and bring things like that into it.
In our area, it's colder. A lot of people do breakfast with Santa,
Mhm.
have Santa pictures, and that brings a lot of families.
So we do that on our client events. We do pictures with Santa. And with our client events, we do events to where we can open up to everybody. It's not going to cost us a whole lot more money. So I know some people do like baseball games. Some people do different things like that to where you're having to pay per person. So we did pictures with Santa last year. This year we did like Easter at the park. And we had a big Easter egg hunt. We had the Easter bunny come out. We had a hot dog food vendor come out and like serve like gourmet hot dogs and different things like that. And it really costed us maybe less than a few $100s out of pocket with lender sponsors and things like that. But it was one of those things where we can invite everybody. And ultimately, it's not about the event, it's about the invites.
So I'm from Minnesota, so it gets really cold there.
Oh, yeah.
So you mentioned something about doing an event for like Christmas lights
Mhm.
and having a contest for that. How are you capturing people's information and entering that into a database?
So you can make a Google document sheet to where people are able to enter their information. So that way you can make sure y'all go by their house to judge it. And they're putting their name, phone number, email address, and address in there. And then you capture all of that and you're able to put that into the CRM. Because if you don't know their phone number, email address, how are you going to tell them if they win or not?
Do you have to have their permission to enter their data in a CRM?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah. So they can unsubscribe if they get the emails and things like that. And I think that's the big thing is they have to have a way to get out. Right here.
What is your budget during the year for marketing? What is the budget that you?
Honestly, for the neighborhood stuff, I've bought the projector and all that stuff. So that was a one-time fee. The contest for the Christmas lights, I have my vendors supply gift cards and things like that. So honestly, I don't spend more than I would say probably less than $1,000 a year for the neighborhood farming. Yeah.
As somebody from Canada, one of the events that we do the Santa, we also do ice skating. With the Christmas lights, we also connect with vendors and we do hot chocolate that gets people out there as well. But my question for you is, when you're doing all of these events and you're planning and you're getting involved, what's your time on task? Because that takes away from other things as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, especially family. So what kind of time are you looking at that you're putting in on a daily, weekly, monthly basis for these events?
So honestly, me personally, I don't put very much time into it. I kind of show up and it happens. My wife runs all the operation side of our team. So she does all of that stuff. So honestly, I would say maybe a few hours, if that, because I mean, it takes 15 minutes to make a flyer on Canva, 5 minutes to post it. And then circle processing, things like that might take a little bit of time, but ultimately it doesn't take a whole lot of time. The most time you're going to spend is actually having the events. So you have to go sit out there and watch a movie for a few hours. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's perfect. Find somebody like that. So I would start one and then get one of the old ladies to go door to door and invite everybody. But ultimately, the biggest way to do it to get people on there is to start one. And then it's probably going to be more door to door because it's a little bit easier that way. Circle prospect, things like that.
Have you ever done a custom audience on Facebook where basically you're doing the Cole Realty resource, importing all the names, numbers, email addresses, create a custom audience, and then now you have a, just advertising to them directly that way, small little boost or something like that?
I have not. My personality type is high D, high C. So I'll get like super dived into the details, and then my D will be like, "What are you doing? Like, go do something." And then I'll get it started and not do it. So I haven't done that.
I had a question that was kind of the opposite of the woman in the front.
Mhm.
So I'm on a team. We've been the dominant team in our neighborhood for decades. So we have kind of a couple agents, my generation in the neighborhood, a couple agents in our parents' age generation in the neighborhood, all on the team. And there's a couple of newer agents that are trying to brand themselves as the neighborhood realtor. And curious if you have any advice on from the other point of view, like how to hold our established position as like the number one agent or number one team.
If you're
And
not
then also
doing
the
these things, start doing
multi-generational
these
thing.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, we do a lot of this stuff. It's like I feel like they're pushing us to step our game up even more.
Yeah.
So and then any advice on like maybe how to pass that torch from like the one generation to the next? And a lot of people know like the older generation in the neighborhood, but don't know us as much.
So I would say on that, maybe do some type of video to post on the Facebook page to let them know, like they're on your team, you said?
Yeah, we have 5 agents on our team that live in the neighborhood.
Is that like one of the requirements to live in the neighborhood? Maybe do some sort of video if they're not wanting to do all of that neighborhood stuff anymore.
Yeah.
So say, hey, I'm so-and-so, like many of you know, I've been the neighborhood Facebook, or the neighborhood realtor for so many years. This is Joe. He works with me. He's the one that's going to help me out, continue to service you guys. I just want to let you know if you're working with Joe, you're working with me. And I give him, just a hype video for you.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, ours is one of those that they don't allow any advertising at
Mhm.
all in the group, and it's like 1,700 homes.
Yeah.
And they're pretty strict about it.
So they don't allow advertising.
Maybe the custom audience.
Switch it from advertising to bringing value.
Yeah.
So if you can't post market reports and things like that in the neighborhood, if they think that's advertising, start with the events. Do a movie night. Do the tailgate party. Do a cook-off. Do something like that, to where you're bringing people out and bringing them to you and doing it that way. If they need a plumber, let them know, hey, I'm the neighborhood realtor. These are the plumbers that we use. Here's 2 of them.
Maybe you just start, I don't know how well built that one is, but maybe you just start your own and build it up and take people to your own Facebook group instead. So if you're offering more value than the other one. Okay.
That's a big thing. It's just about providing value and just giving people information. How far out are we doing for each event? Typically, we get the events scheduled early in the year. So we know, hey, we're going to do this one this time, this one this time, this one this time. And then we start advertising them usually a month or 2 before the event, and then kind of ramp it up from there. Say it again. 6 a year. Yeah. So basically every 2 months. So the big ones are going to be like the movie nights, things like that. The easy ones are like Christmas light contest. So where they kind of just enter in there. They do all the work. You kind of just get somebody to drive by and rate them. No, we have a neighborhood park. So we do it there. And the HOA opens it up because they love the thought of bringing everybody together and them not having to spend money on it.
So I just want to chime in as well. I was in a situation where I was trying to promote my services in a Facebook group, homeowner association. I was getting a lot of resistance. I joined them, right? And then I overcame the barrier. I got to know them, and then I was the only person getting a free pass who could post and promote in the group. So that's another option.
So when you do these events,
you
you start
so many doors.
yeah. When you do these events, you start getting free passes to be able to do stuff you normally wouldn't be able to do. Like I got kicked out of my neighborhood Facebook page one time because I posted the open house on one of the listings I got. And I actually sold his house too. That was the HOA president. He kicked me out of the group. He was like, hey, you can't just join the group and do that. And I was like, no, I live in the neighborhood. Like, here's my address. Come knock on my door and you'll see like I'm me. And they let me back in. He's like, oh, it was a misunderstanding. And I was like, okay. And that was the HOA president that bought and sold with us. So yeah, getting in tight with the HOA opens up so many doors that you're able to do that other people can't do. So if you have other agents in your neighborhood and you're tight with the HOA, they're not gonna be able to do what you do. I have an agent in my neighborhood that actually messaged me the other day because she was renting a house in there. And she said, hey, our house got foreclosed. Like, I know you're like the person in the neighborhood. You know anything, any rentals coming up or anything? And I was like, no, I don't. Like, but I mean, people see that and they're like, okay, like, even if somebody moves into the neighborhood as an agent, most people are going to be intimidated by your presence. They're not going to try to take that over from you. And even if they do, they're not going to be able to outwork you on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That reminds me, the best thing I did in my neighborhood when COVID hit, you remember when like the grocery stores got wiped out? So I found like a wholesale place that sold eggs. I bought 100 dozen eggs and I gave them out in the neighborhood. So I like put a post up, hey, anybody need eggs? Like I bought all these dozens of eggs to give out. Like you can't find them at the store. Come by and grab a dozen or two or whatever you need. And that like humanized me to everybody else. I'm not the realtor. I'm like, hey, this guy's helping us out. So I spent, I think it was like $100, $200 for the eggs. Might have been 300, like, you know, they jacked up the prices on everything. And I gave those out and people were trying to pay me for them. They're like, hey, I really appreciate it. Like we haven't been able to find them. My son, here, like, here's $10. I was like, no, like, don't give me your money. Like, here's a couple business cards. If you ever hear anybody want to buy and sell, like, give me a call. And then people remember that and they're like, hey, I remember you gave me the eggs. Can you come list my house? No, I did. I tried it out for 6 months. I was probably a little over 6 months. Nobody ever called me and said, hey, I saw your postcard. So I stopped doing it. Oh, absolutely. And postcards are more expensive. Postcards are usually like $1 a house. And that's $400 a month times 12. I don't know what 3% of that is, but yeah. I mean, the only reason I check my mail now is because like the coaching checks come in the mail. So I don't check the mail.
I've done successfully about 8 times ROI on my direct mail, but it was an 11 by 17 rolled in half newsletter that I sent out monthly. I got that printed and delivered for 55 cents a door.
No, that's not bad at all.
Right, and that's 11 by 17.
Yeah.
So when you actually fold it, you have to feel guilty about throwing it away first before you have to open it up and then throw it away.
Yeah.
So you open it up, you're like, okay, this is the first work I did this. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So like, got a lot of market for that.
That's awesome. So that, I mean, I'm not saying don't do postcards. It's just we don't do them. We haven't found that they work in our market or in our neighborhood. There are some people that do postcards that kill it in different areas. But that's one thing we don't do. Oh, absolutely. It's just another layer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean that's an awesome idea. It's really just the events and kind of get out there and doing it. We'll call it aged grape juice. Yeah. That's why we do everything kind of bring your own food, bring your own drinks, bring your own chair, kind of whatever. Like you bring your own stuff, bring a blanket, things like that. Mm. Oh wow. Oh, for sure. Thank you for that.
Yeah, just one big thing she had mentioned about like a band or like, you know, people that are looking for PR. We actually had someone that threw, I live on a lake and they threw this big lake party. And I still remember the family because they had Macklemore there before he got famous, because I live in Seattle. And
That's like
so
right around the perfect time, huh?
now everyone remembers that event. So like, holy crap, that was Macklemore. And I don't think anyone's ever going to forget that
Yeah.
party. Crazy.
Cool. Well, thank you guys.
That was better.
Battery tower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like ditch the stairs.
Oh, you are